and acacia shadows stretch long, a lone proto-human crouches, sensing a shift in the world. Thick-browed, muscular, fur glistening with sweat, he inhales slowly. Every scent is a sentence: mud, herd, rot, and something else, heavy and wrong beneath the stillness. His gaze locks on a shallow pool where the surface does not dance with insects, but bulges, waiting. A bronze-green eye opens beneath the reeds and watches him back. The water breaks in silence as a colossal serpent rises, scales glimmering copper and moss, moving with the slow confidence of a killer that has never known fear. He freezes, fingers digging into wet soil, heart pounding like a trapped drum. Yet, he does not scream. Something new in him chooses to observe, instead of only flee. A bird explodes skyward, and, in that split heartbeat, the giant snake launches, jaws gaping toward him, the air slicing around fangs built to end stories. He dives aside through mud and reeds, feeling the rush of death at his back as the serpent's head smashes earth where his chest had been. From a low rise, he watches the serpent coil, immense loops sliding through golden grass. He studies distance, rhythm, and reach, his mind mapping a predator's logic. Rain-slick mud coats his furred skin as he drags it across his chest and face. Crude camouflage, born not from instinct alone, but from calculation. The serpent's head rises again, tongue tasting his heat. He grips his wooden spear with shaking hands, torn between the urge to vanish and the urge to understand. The ground hums with each shift of its coils. He takes one cautious step back into shadow when a deep roar from beyond the grove tears the silence apart. Out of the golden grass strides the Saber-Tooth, massive shoulders rolling, fangs gleaming pale in the dim light, a living hammer of bone and muscle. Now he stands between two empires of death, the serpent in the water, the cat in the grass, his fragile body pinned inside their unseen battlefield. The Saber-Tooth lowers its head, muscles coiling, the snake tightens, hissing, and for a breath, the world holds still, balanced on tooth and scale. Mud and fear cling to his fingers as he snatches a jagged stone. He is no match, yet his mind refuses the lie that he is only prey. The serpent strikes first, lunging toward the Saber-Tooth's flank. Claws flash, fangs gnash, and the grove erupts into chaos as titans collide. He watches in awe as coils crash against claws, trees splinter, and water erupts. This is more than a hunt. It is a war older than his kind. Lightning grumbles on the horizon. He slips into the hollow of a fallen trunk, peering out as the beasts tear at each other, framed by storm and mud. The Saber-Tooth's jaws close on scaled flesh. The snake's coils crush fur and bone. Together they vanish into the golden sea of grass, locked in murderous embrace. Silence bleeds back into the grove. He steps out slowly, feet trembling, staring at the crushed earth, knowing he has witnessed something his tribe must not forget. At dawn's pale edge, he kneels beside claw marks carved deep into the soaked soil, tracing the overlapping prints of serpent and cat with rough shaking fingers. These tracks are too large, too many. They speak of a struggle that did not end last night, but continues beyond the reach of his eyes. Curiosity and fear braided tight. He follows the trail through wet grass and acacia shade, drawn as if knowledge itself has seized him by the throat. The path leads to a blood-stained watering hole, surface rippling red. Something immense entered here, or never returned. He dips his fingers into the tinted water, smells iron and rot, and sees his own reflection, small and fragile beside the ghost of the monster. A rustle, he whirls with raised spear, only to find a smaller proto-human, limping, mud-streaked, eyes wide with terror and recognition. They trade guttural calls, fragments of meaning, danger, follow, see, and the wounded one gestures toward the deeper shadows of the forest. Together they move beneath heavy branches and drifting mist, stepping over scattered bones, shredded scales, and the broken teeth of something once fearless. Ahead yawns a low, half-flooded cave, its mouth rimmed with twisted roots. From within drifts a cold breath and faint, echoing vibrations. They pause on the threshold, two small lives against an older darkness, before stepping inside with nothing but stone, instinct, and stubborn courage. Inside, bioluminescent insects cast a dim glow over damp rock. Their pale light reveals rough carvings smeared along the walls. Serpents stretch in those carvings from floor to ceiling. Fanged cats fall beneath spears tipped with shining resin. Their own kind stand and fight, not flee. He touches the lines and feels more than art. He feels continuity, a warning passed from hands long gone to hands that still bleed. Deeper in the cave, they find a saber-tooth skeleton shattered and split, ribs crushed inward, skull gouged as if impaled by something huge and merciless. Half buried near the bones lies a hardened resin blade, shaped like a claw, not stone, not bone, but made with deliberate, remembered purpose. He lifts it gently, amber edge catching the dim light. In his grip, it feels less like a relic and more like an inheritance. A low hiss trembles from the dark. The smaller one's breath stutters, eyes reflecting the slow advance of something sliding across wet stone. The giant snake emerges, scarred and furious, coils scraping the cavern floor. The war he thought finished has followed them home. Clutching the resin blade, he steps backward toward the cave mouth. The serpent's head rises, tasting their fear, preparing to strike. They burst from the cave into storm-washed light, the serpent crashing after them, and for the first time he realizes, to survive, he must change the rules. Under a bruised sky, in the same swamp grove of golden wet grass and acacia silhouettes, he plants his feet and turns to face the pursuing serpent. His broken spear scrapes uselessly against armored scales, the impact jarring his bones, reminding him how small wood and bone are against ancient flesh. The serpent's jaws snap inches from his face. He throws himself aside, sliding through mud, every breath a borrowed second. The smaller proto-human, shaking but defiant, hurls a stone that cracks against the serpent's eye. The beast recoils, lashing its tail into acacia trunks. Rain thickens, drumming on leaves and swamp. They shelter behind a fallen tree as the serpent thrashes blindly, its rage tearing at earth and sky. He stares at his shattered spear, at the storm, at the scars in the mud. There must be something stronger than fang, stronger than coil. He scrapes stone on stone beside a patch of resin and dry fiber, desperate, echoing the memory of lightning-splitting trees, stealing fire from the clouds. A single spark leaps, smoke curls up. He bends close and breathes life into it, coaxing a fragile ember into a flickering, trembling flame. The torch erupts in orange light, the serpent stills, instinct recoiling as that new brightness claws across its wet scales. He rises with the fire in his hand, no longer just fleeing. He roars, advancing, and for the first time, the giant snake truly hesitates. Rain hisses around the flame, but does not kill it. Shadows dance wild on tree trunks as serpent, man, and storm converge in one trembling frame. Drawn by blood and light, the saber-tooth returns to the grove, its eyes narrowing at the impossible sight of fire held aloft by prey. In one glance he understands. Beasts rule claw and coil, but only he holds this new hungry sun between his fingers. The saber-tooth lunges at the stunned serpent. Coils whip. The air fills with roaring and hissing, and the grove becomes a killing ground again. He does not run, he charges, torch blazing, dagger ready, a fragile body hurling itself into the space where monsters tear at each other. He clambers onto the serpent's back, driving the burning resin blade between its scales. Fire bites into flesh, and the giant snake writhes in agony. The saber-tooth tears free from the coils, landing hard, staring at him through rain and flame, not as food, but as something changed. The serpent spasms, then collapses into the swamp, its great body sinking slowly beneath dark water that closes like a grave. Exhausted, he kneels in the mud, cradling the still-burning torch. In the glow, his eyes reflect something new. Knowledge born from terror. The saber-tooth turns away into mist, leaving him alive with fire in his hands. Dawn leaks over the grove, and the age of hiding quietly ends. Morning steam rises from wet grasses and blackened earth as he stands at the center of a scarred battlefield, flame in hand where once only fangs ruled. He walks to where the serpent vanished. Only slick scales and swirling insects remain, proof that even giants can fall. In the muddy water, he sees his reflection lit by firelight. No longer only an animal, something sharper stares back. The smaller one joins him, mesmerized. Together they shield the fragile flame, as if guarding the heart of their future. They feed it bark, reeds, and resin. The fire grows. For the first time.